All right, here we go, man. Here we go. Let me plug the joint. Why I say sexual attraction is not illogical. I'm going to share with you in just a moment this video. Shout out to Kelly Moore. He posted this video to the Real Game No Theory Facebook group. And y'all been hearing me say that for a while. Sexual attraction is not logical. Another thing that I always say is most men have a remedial understanding of attraction. And the reason most men have a remedial understanding of attraction is because they're always trying to logically explain why women do what they do, why they make the decisions to date who they date, why they make the decisions to have sex with whoever they have sex with. They're trying to logically explain it. And I've said this repeatedly, you cannot logically explain something that defies logic. I need guys to understand that. Now, there was somebody else, and I can't remember the name of the individual, who made a comment underneath this video that I'm about to show you, right? You changed my life enterprises, right? Someone else made a comment and they basically mentioned what I've always said, which is sexual attraction is not logical. For those of you who tuned in, I think it was not this past Saturday, but the Saturday prior to that, almost 2 weeks ago, I believe, we did a live stream on a Manhood is a Skill Set show. And we talked about primal attraction. There is nothing logical about primal attraction. So when we say sexual attraction, when you delve deep into sexual attraction, there's something very primal about the desire to want to have sex with someone where money is not involved. There's nothing involved. There's nothing being bartered or exchanged. It's just two individuals who have this strong magnetic attraction for each other. You can even say lust, right? There's something very primal about lust, something very, very primal about that. Okay, you cannot logically explain that, right? But we're going to listen to this joint and we're going to get off into it. Give me a second. All right, hold on.
Recently, I mean, I was dating someone for 2 months and they were the perfect person in every way, but the mutual attractiveness just wasn't there, and so it didn't.
There you go.
Is he not physically attractive?
I think he's a handsome guy. Maybe I should say chemistry for us.
She doesn't want to be judged.
It wasn't sparking. So
chemistry. What is the chemistry? What is the spark?
I don't know, but what I've learned is that
She
you
does
need
know.
it. I wish it was to my chagrin that the spark didn't go off, but it is just, I think it's that thing that makes you, just that draws you to that person initially. And so
You mentioned it before,
Was he
physical
hard to
attraction.
he is the most incredible guy. Everything was perfect. And I was like, what is wrong with myself?
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
I don't know.
What is wrong with
You can ask all my friends. I was like,
Okay, so you guys can't see this. I'm going to read something to you, right? So here's the caption that I'm going to read. 2 months, money and time wasted with the wrong woman. He was the perfect guy, except she was not physically attracted to him. She just said she was physically attracted to him. See, and here's the problem. This is why I say guys have a remedial understanding of attraction. Guys automatically think if a woman is physically attracted to you, that everything else should fall in line. If she's attracted to you physically, because when guys look at attraction, most guys who aren't gamed up, when they look at attraction strictly through a man's lens. Meaning, if I think she's beautiful, if I think she's very pretty, if I think she's gorgeous, automatically I want to not only have sex with her, but I want to be with her, right? I want to do things for her because she's so attractive and visually appealing to me. most guys, most males, because men really don't think like that. Men, we go a little deeper than just the surface of how a woman looks. But most males, because they value the way a woman looks, they place value on beauty, they think women should do the same when it comes to, oh, if you think he's handsome, then what's the problem? And what they don't understand, and she said it, she says there was no chemistry, there was no spark. The spark she was talking about was sexual attraction. This is what a lot of guys don't understand, right? When we talk about the human psyche, when we talk about women, when there is no sexual attraction to you, and a woman has sex with you, for a lot of women, okay, there are exceptions, but when a woman, even if a woman is physically attracted to you, but she is not sexually attracted to you, oftentimes when she has sex with you, because of the fact that you haven't touched her mentally, right? You haven't provided a mental climax or a mental orgasm, you know what I'm saying, for her, because you have not influenced her mentally, right? You haven't spoken to her sexuality. Oftentimes when she has sex with you, she isn't there mentally. Yeah, you're fucking her body, but you failed to fuck her mind. And anyone that knows anything about sex and women is sex begins mentally for women. A woman's climax or her orgasm begins mentally. So if you can't tap into her mental and her sexuality, right? A woman's sexuality, and men's too, but we're talking about women. A woman's sexuality is directly connected to her mind, right? Directly connected. You can't get around that. A woman's sexuality is directly connected to her mind. So if you can't touch her here, right, you're really not going to be able to get the full experience of what it's like to have sex with a woman who is actually sexually attracted to you, and she desires you immensely, immensely in that regard, right? You're not going to get that if you can't touch her here. Yeah, you might have sex with her, you know what I'm saying? But you're not really going to get the full sexual experience of who she is sexually, because she's never going to truly and fully introduce you to that part of her because she ain't sexually attracted to you, right? So she said chemistry. Guys have to understand, first and foremost, if a woman is not sexually attracted to you, it's going to be very difficult for you guys to actually have sexual compatibility or sexual chemistry. That's what she's talking about. And the reason why she's kind of tripping over herself and she can't put it into words, because she cannot logically explain why she was not sexually attracted to him. She just knows she wasn't. She's not going to sit there on camera and say, he didn't make my pussy tingle. I didn't get wet at the thought of him. I didn't get wet when he touched me. I didn't sit in my bed playing with myself, visualizing him touching me, because she was never sexually attracted to him. So her mind couldn't take her there. I don't know if guys truly understand this shit. Let me plug the joint. Why I say sexual attraction is not logical. Now, let me read this shit. Again, 2 months, money and time wasted with the wrong woman. And she was the wrong woman. Not because she was bad or something was wrong with her. This guy was dealing with a woman that was not sexually attracted to him, and he didn't know. He couldn't tell. Most guys can't tell. And the reason why most guys can't tell is because the woman is having sex with them. So they assume that she is sexually attracted to him. They assume that. And guys are so devoid of astute awareness, although they're having sex with the woman, they can't even tell that the woman really isn't into it. Most guys can't tell, because most guys are just happy to have sex with a woman, that they can't really tell the difference between a woman who's not into it versus a woman who can't get enough of them. They can't tell, right? So here we go. He was the perfect guy, except she was not physically attracted to him. She said she was, and we'll replay it in a minute. She mentions there was no physical attraction, but fearing being judged, she uses another word, chemistry. See, these guys are so dumb. They got these podcasts, but they have no clue what they're talking about. They have no clue what they're seeing, because I guarantee you, if I was in that room and if I was sitting there, I would have looked dead at her and I would have said, you know what? You weren't sexually attracted to him. You didn't lust him. Right? There was no curiosity, no anticipation of being touched by him. He couldn't speak to your sexuality. She would have thought about it for a second and she would have been like, you're right. She would have understood. From my perspective, and because I am knowledgeable and I am experienced, she would have known. He knows what I'm talking about. He knows, because I can put it into words. I can articulate it better than she can. She just knows. She knows she was not sexually attracted to him. She knows it, but she doesn't want to say that, right? And the reason why she don't want to say that is probably because she doesn't want to be judged. Oh, all you women care about is sex. But no, she cares about more than that. But that matters to women. Women, if you talk to women, if women had their choice or their druthers, you know what I'm saying? They do not want to be in a relationship with a man they're not sexually attracted to. Now, they will. If that man can compensate them in other ways, resources, right? If that man can compensate them in other ways, they'll make that sacrifice, they'll compromise that, and they'll get into a relationship, a marriage, even have kids with them. But guess what that woman's going to be doing? Having sex with her side dude, the guy that she's actually sexually attracted to. She will be fucking on the side. You can bet that, right? So then again, so he goes on to say, which is more ambiguous, female code for I didn't find him physically attractive. See, here's the problem. Again, this is why I say most men have a remedial understanding of attraction. This is what guys do. They think physical attraction equates to sexual attraction. And the reason why they think that is because for most males, that's how it works. If I think she's visually appealing, I want to have sex with her. Most guys think that way. Most guys can look at a woman, look at her body, look at her face, they want to fuck, right? For women, it's not so simple. Now, there are situations or scenarios where a woman can be seduced by a man's look, right? But it's usually going to be a guy, in most cases, where the guy is her physical type, especially if he's a certain height, has a certain body build, looks a certain way, you know what I'm saying, from the neck down. Shout out Ron Wills with the body game. There are going to be certain guys that look a certain way in their clothing or with their shirt off, where women will be seduced by that, and they're going to desire to want to have sex with that guy on the strength of that. That does happen. Male strippers come into mind. Male strippers come into mind. Also, football players come into mind, right? Because a woman can see them in her football uniform. You can tell that the guy's cut up, muscular, whatever, right? So even a lot of women who are fans of football, okay, they like the way the guys look in their fucking uniforms. That's why a lot of them really be watching that shit, right? And I knew this back in high school because chicks would always talk about that type of shit. Yeah, number such and such. Ooh, girl, he look good in them pants. So women are very visual creatures as well. But just because a woman finds you to be physically appealing, like she's talking about, that doesn't automatically equate to sexual attraction. This is how I know these guys don't know shit about sexual attraction, because nowhere do they mention it. They don't get it. It's going over. It's here. It's here. They keep referring to the physical aesthetics of the dude. Well, she was not physically attracted to him, although she clearly said she was. So let's go back to it. All right, so again, which is more ambiguous female code for I didn't find them physically attractive, but sounds nicer. She notes it's what draws you to someone initially. He was treating her well, giving her the princess treatment for 2 months, and she got rid of him because he is going to want intimacy. Okay, I don't know if she never had sex with him. Maybe she didn't, because they're saying she got rid of him because he's going to want intimacy. Nice guys will wait 2 months. He would make a good friend. He spends money and is perfect in every way except looks. She hoped he would develop an emotional connection and be her friend. Okay, here's the thing. This is propaganda. Okay, if you don't know what propaganda is, Google that shit. This is propaganda basically to make her look bad, saying, oh, she's just a picky woman, and although this guy treated her well, she didn't want him because he wasn't cute enough. And that's not at all what happened. I tell you guys all the time, if women are not sexually attracted to you, you're going to have difficulties, okay? And the only savings grace that some of y'all might have is you're gonna have to use your money. Yeah, a lot of guys, unfortunately, because women don't gravitate to you sexually, you're gonna have no other recourse, right, but to use money to try and influence her to fuck with you. That's why the passport bros exist. The passport bros are a perfect example of guys that women typically do not gravitate to sexually. So they go abroad where their money, right, their money can be more influential to the women there because those women don't have access to financial resources themselves, like educated Western women, women who make great money. See, if you're dealing with a woman who's an educated woman, even if she didn't go to college, and she makes great money, your money in many cases will have little to no influence on her. So if you're not able to influence if you're not able to influence a woman with your money and she don't find you sexually appealing, bro, you ain't fucking. Which is why the passport bros are bouncing and going abroad. Because they didn't have enough money to influence women here. It's kind of hard to influence women with your money when they make just as much money, if not more money than you. Okay, you can't really do that, right? So where do you go? Someplace where, in those women's eyes, because they are impoverished, right? They live in poverty. They're poor, right? Yeah, you might see them. They may be all dolled up. You don't see the fact that they live in a shanty town in a fucking tin hut and shit. Yeah, you might not see that in a rundown 1-bedroom little crib and shit. Yeah, you might not see their living conditions. All you see is a pretty chick who is dolled up and she look good to you and you're willing to spend some money and she gonna fuck with you because she need that dope. Okay, you want some ass, you want some female companionship, she gonna go ahead and exchange that for some dough, right? It's that simple, right? So let's go ahead and play this shit again.
Recently, I mean, I was dating someone for 2 months and they were the perfect person in every way, but the mutual attractiveness just wasn't there, and so it didn't.
There you go.
Was he not physically attractive?
I think he's a handsome guy. Maybe I should say chemistry for us.
She doesn't want to be judged.
It was.
Okay. She said he's a handsome guy. What have I always told you? A lot of guys look good on paper. Physically, good-looking guys. They might dress well even, have a nice whip, live in a nice community, right? But when women interact with those guys, the way the guy presents himself, the way he conducts himself, his behaviors, the way he talks about things, the way he reacts and responds to her, it just doesn't get her coochie moist, right? So if a woman is not sexually attracted to you, it's going to be very difficult for her to develop chemistry. She is talking about sexual chemistry because regardless of what women say publicly, that's extremely important to women. Women want to deal with men that check most of the boxes, if not all the boxes. Now, most women aren't going to find men that check all of the boxes. But I assure you, every single woman walking around right now, they want a man that's physically appealing to them. Whether that man is cute, handsome, fine, whatever type of superlative they want to use to describe how he visually looks to them, they want a man that looks good to them, that they actually want to fuck. I need y'all to understand that. Let me break something down to you guys right quick. Let me get rid of this. Let me stop sharing this. Okay, so let me read something. Let me read something. Okay, let me bring this over here. Okay, let me plug the joint. Why I say sexual attraction is not logical. First of all, we have to look at the meaning of the word logic. What does logic mean? Logic is a tool to develop reasonable conclusions based on a given set of data. Logic is free of emotion. and deals very specifically with information in its purest form. Okay, this is why, for instance, if a woman gets into a relationship with a man that has plenty of resources, plenty of money, and he's very generous with that money, and he could provide a lifestyle for that woman that she can't provide for herself, it's very logical for a woman, guy that has money. So when guys call women gold diggers, actually, it makes the most sense for women to get with men that can provide a very comfortable lifestyle for them. It makes logical sense to do that. The problem is, and this is the problem that a lot of women are having, although it makes logical sense to deal with a guy like that, they're not finding enough of those guys who also have sex appeal. Do y'all get that? Let me say that shit again. The problem that a lot of women are running into, there is a shortage of men who not only are handsome men, good-looking men who have sex appeal, but they are also very financially successful. There are not enough of those men to go around, which is, so what happens is, what women typically are running into are either guys that got money and no sex appeal, or guys who got sex appeal and no fucking money, right? And when I say no money, I don't mean that they're broke. What I mean is, I mean, it could be that, but what I mean is they don't really have enough money to be able to provide for the household where the woman can stop working. She's gonna have to work. There are a lot of women who are in relationships right now with men they think are good looking, who they are also sexually attracted to. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Give me a second, man. All right, I just saw something that popped across my screen. But in any case, my bad. In any case, my bad. Like I was telling you guys, right? Women are encountering is the majority of guys, they're not the complete package. So what women gotta can choose who they gonna fuck with. This is why they'll have sex with the men that they are sexually attracted to, but they won't necessarily get into a relationship with them. But they will definitely have that guy as a fuck buddy. That's definitely gonna happen, right? Believe that. So let's continue with the logic joint, right? Again, logic is a tool to develop reasonable conclusion based on given set of data. Logic is free of emotion, meaning women aren't thinking about how they feel. They are thinking about a necessity, a need. When it comes to dealing with a man, there is nothing emotional about that, right? Logic is free of emotion and deals very specifically with information in its purest data. See, guys are trying to logically explain something that's devoid of logic. You cannot explain sexual attraction. Either a woman has that feeling when she's physically in your presence or she doesn't. She either has it or she doesn't. You can't manufacture sexual attraction. You can't. You can manufacture attraction. What do I mean by that? Are people attracted to money? Are people attracted to nice things? Yes. But there's nothing sexual about being attracted to money. Y'all understand that? But women most definitely will trade sexual favors for financial gratuity or monetary favors. That does happen, right? Now, lust. Let's think about lust. Before I get into lust, let me say this about sexual attraction. Sexual attraction is biological. It's biological. I need guys to understand that. Sexual attraction is biological, right? The need for animals in the animal kingdom to mate is biological. Logically explain the desire to, you just know it's something that you got, body is telling you to go do this thing, to procreate. It's biological, right? Lust is psychological. Lust is a psychological force producing intense desire for something, of affecting or arising in the mind. Now, I'm giving you the definition for psychological, of affecting or arising in the mind, related to the mental and emotional state of a person. There is nothing logical about the mental or emotional state of a person. If a woman is sexually attracted to you, she is greatly influenced mentally and emotionally, right? Specifically, if she has sex with you and the sexual chemistry is off the fucking scales, right? If she's addicted to your dick, if she's dickmatized, she is impacted, she is influenced mentally and emotionally. I'm not saying that she has an emotional bond to you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is her mental and emotional state is influenced when she's sexually attracted to a man. So when you talk about emotional state, what is that? It's the way that you feel. It's your feelings towards something or someone. Okay, it's been impacted by your level of attraction for that person. This is why I say sexual attraction is the strongest, the most potent, and the number one way to attract a woman to you. Yeah, I get that. I'm out.